Wasn't that what Bailey wanted most? Plain, old, normal? It was what she'd told him the last time they walked along the beach. That when she looked ahead, she wasn't always sure what she wanted to do or where she wanted to live, but she knew this much. She wanted a normal life. The ability to come and go without wondering whether a posse of paparazzi was lurking in the bushes. That kind of normal. Behind her desk, Mary made a few quick calls to alert Jack Randall and his team that Brandon had arrived. As she did, Brandon felt his phone vibrate and he pulled it discreetly from his jeans pocket. A text from Bailey. "Hey, I'm at NTM Studios. Can't believe how much I want this part now. Thanks to you. Hope all the weird meetings before this amount to nothing. Getting ready to head inside. Pray for me. ILY." Brandon smiled and read the text again and shot a quick answer back. "You'll be amazing. Everything will work out. ILY too." NTM was where he'd gotten his start in half a dozen movies for teens. In the last few years, NTM had produced movies with more drama, more conflict. Unlocked, the movie he and Bailey had starred in together, had been one of those. Now Bailey had been cast as the lead in a film about a young teacher who convinces her gang member students to care for each other. Her production meeting was set to take place at the same time as his. She'd had a few strange meetings with the producer of the film, but even so, her time today figured to be a whole lot more positive than his. One of Jack's assistants strode down the back hallway and into sight. "Mr. Paul?" Mary smiled at him. The quietly knowing look in her eyes said she didn't need to feel starstruck around him any longer. "Mr. Randall is ready for you." Brandon winked at her as he walked past. Then he followed the assistant to the back boardroom, where he'd met with the Westmark team a number of times before. Always to discuss the same thing, the pending contract. As they reached the boardroom, Brandon saw he was the last one to the party. His agent, Sid Chandler, and Stephen Chase, his manager, sat together at one end of the table. There had been a time when the two of them were a little at odds, even though they both headed up his team. Power struggle, maybe. But since getting word of the big Westmark contract, the two seemed like old college roommates. Across from them sat Jack Randall, his assistant, Chin Lee Hung, a 40-something expert with a doctorate in contracts. Two guys from the studio's legal department and at least 4 interns, including the suit who'd escorted Brandon to the meeting. A meeting Brandon had requested. He filled his lungs. 30 minutes from now they'd all be furious with him. "Gentlemen," he nodded at the men and then at Jack's assistant. "Miss Hung." He gave a more familiar smile to Chandler and Chase. "Thanks for the meeting." "Yes." Jack allowed an uncomfortable chuckle. "We've invested quite a bit in this contract and, of course, in the announcement of the details." He shrugged and looked at the others around the table. "Anytime our top star calls a meeting, we'll find time." A round of mumbled agreements followed. All eyes were on him. Brandon cleared his throat. "Thanks, I appreciate that." He pulled his bag up onto his lap and removed a file from inside. No matter how he started, there was no easy way around what he was going to say. "I hired a private attorney, Luke Baxter." He worked to keep his tone light. "He's worked with Dane Matthews and several other actors." "Dane's brother, isn't that right?" Jack laced his fingers together and leaned on his forearms. His eyes pierced Brandon's and he didn't wait for an answer. "Was that on counsel from your agent, your manager?" Jack cast a shadowy look at both men. "No, Randall." Chandler was the first to cut in. "Neither of us asked Brandon to get another opinion." He smiled with dizzy abandon, like someone about to make 15% of an 8-figure deal. "The contract? Well, it's perfect." "Thank you." Jack seemed content to settle in on that for a few beats. After a long moment, he looked back at Brandon. "Go on." Brandon resisted the urge to wipe his brow. He might be sweating, but he couldn't show it. The meeting was bound to be tough, but the tension in the room now was palpable. Not the usual showering of compliments and grandiose statements from the studio brass. This time they were irritated and in a hurry.